I can just tell you, I turn heads when I say Jaguar in the UK. Hey guys, welcome back to the Girl Gone London channel. If you're new here, my name is Caitlin. I'm a dual American and UK citizen, and today I am talking about some different pronunciations between the UK and the US. Now, I know I literally just said 10 seconds ago that this was about pronunciations, and I do have some pronunciation differences in here, but I also have a list of some words that are similar but pronounced and spelled differently in the UK versus the US. And the reason that I've come up with these is because I get a lot of comments, particularly when I say the word that I've left for last, for number 8. I get comments being like, that's not a word, this is how you say it. And so I've come up with a list of some things that the words are very similar, but they are slightly different and they are spelled differently. They are different words in the UK versus the US. So my first example of this, so you get where I'm coming from, is the word specialty versus speciality. So in the US, we often say specialty. So something like, making lasagna is my specialty. Doing YouTube videos that are cringy and make people leave hate comments is one of my specialties. Speciality is what I've heard in the UK and what my British husband says. And we've had a lot of conversations about, is it specialty, is it speciality? Because in the UK, the word is speciality, spelled differently than specialty, meaning the same thing. So like I said, the last word I have on here is a word that I have gotten a lot of comments about over the year I've done YouTube saying, I think you're mistaken. And I'm not mistaken. I'm just saying the American word that we use, which you might consider to be mistaken, and that is definitely you're right, but it is an actual word used in American English. I am not completely dumb. So I've intermixed some of these types of words like specialty and speciality with some words that are spelled the same but do have different pronunciations in both countries. So the next one I have on my list is what I would say as mischievous. My British husband says mischievous. So if you're a Brit versus an American, comment below. Do you say the British version mischievous or the American version mischievous? Do you say both? I think I had always said mischievous, but if you say mischievous, I know what you're talking about. It's just something that I wouldn't pronounce it that way. So the second one is mischievous in the UK versus mischievous in the US. And these are spelled the same way. Okay, so the third thing on my list goes back to these words that basically mean essentially the same thing, but are spelled differently and pronounced differently. So in the US, we say trapezoid to be something like this, which my British husband says sounds like a robot. I have been informed and have done my research on the fact that in the UK, trapezium is more commonly used. Now, when I was doing research on this, I did determine that some people do say that a trapezoid and a trapezium are technically different shapes. And if you are a mathematician, please weigh in, let us know, because I know I said I'm not completely dumb, but I just make videos on the internet for a living, so I don't know. But in general, what we learned in school is the shape I learned trapezoid, where he learned trapezium. So I did not learn trapezoid versus trapezium, I just learned trapezoid, and similarly, the same shape he learned to call a trapezium. So for the purposes of our schooling, it was the same exact thing, pronounced differently and spelled a little bit differently, but close enough that I considered it okay to include in this video because they're not two entirely different words. Okay, the fourth one in this video, and I feel like I'm stooping a little bit low to the more basic videos about these topics, is aluminum versus, aluminium. So aluminium is spelled differently than aluminum. Americans say aluminum, Brits say aluminium. This is another one of those instances where people on both sides say the Brits are pronouncing it incorrectly or the Americans are pronouncing it incorrectly. You might think they're using the wrong word to describe something, but the word used in both American English aluminum and British English aluminium are spelled differently, and people are pronouncing them the correct way for the word that is used in their country. So our next two, we're going back to words that are pronounced differently but spelled exactly the same. And the first one is this word. So I will say it how I say it in my accent first, linear, or now I'm getting confused between the British and the American way of saying it, but I would say linear, like 2 syllables, linear. My husband has taught me how to say it, how he says it, and it's linear. I don't know if you heard the differences in those, because in my accent, I think it's a little bit close still, but the way he says it is more similar to a 3-syllable lin-e-er, whereas the way I say it is lin-ear, like your ear. This is just one of those pronunciation differences that when we realized for the first time, obviously full-scale argument ensued over which way you say it. So I'm interested in hearing from people in different regional areas of England and other parts of the UK. How would you say linear or linear? Do I sound like I'm saying it correctly, incorrectly? Definitely let me know, but I do know that the differences are enough that I could consider it in this video, even if the way I'm saying it right now isn't entirely different enough. Now, the next one always gets me because people always make fun of Americans for pronouncing the following word and brand a certain way, and that is Jaguar. So yes, most Americans do say this word like jag-wire. In the UK, you will mostly hear people say Jaguar. So these are, again, 2 entirely different pronunciations, and I think on this one I lean more on the UK side because Jaguar definitely sounds a little bit of a stretch, whereas Jaguar seems to make more sense, but I'm not an expert in linguistics or where these different pronunciations came from. I can just tell you, I turn heads when I say Jaguar in the UK. Now for our last 2, we are ending with, again, similar words, but words that are actually spelled differently and used in slightly different ways in the UK versus the US. And the funny thing about these is I feel like I've gotten to a point in my expat life where I can see how both sides of the debate find the other word funny, but for the most part, you're going to feel most uncomfortable with the word that you don't use. So it's going to sound funnier, it might sound humorous, it sounds just completely wrong if you've never been exposed to the use of a particular word before. So for instance, in the US, we typically say burglarize. So I've been burglarized, or to burglarize. To a British ear, this just sounds silly. It just sounds like just a bit extra, a bit much, a bit too much to say, because in British English, typically the word is burgle. So they would think, you know, get to the point, burgle, not burglarized, whereas to an American, hearing the word burgle sounds like gurgle or some kind of like funny kids word. We're just not used to this word when meaning burglarize. They mean the same exact thing, but both countries actually have a slightly different word that they use. Now the final one is basically what this whole video is founded on, because I did a video about maybe the weather in the UK and how I was getting used to it or not getting used to it, and I used the word acclimatize. I got lots of comments who seemed to think that I had no idea what I was talking about and I had made this word up, to the point that I thought that I had, and I did some research into it because sometimes you think you're going a little bit crazy. And no, of course I didn't make it up. Acclimatize is the word that most people in America, North America, use to mean getting used to something. So I would say, I'm becoming acclimatized to the weather, or I need to acclimatize to a British winter. To British ears, this sounds weird because to you, in British English, it's more common to say acclimate. And when I hear acclimate, when I have my American hat on, acclimate sounds weird. It sounds like you made that up. So each side has these different versions of this word that, for the most part, unless you are Living in either country, like I said in the beginning of my video, you're going to have no idea that another country says it differently, because it's not a pants versus trousers. It's not a pram versus stroller or buggy versus stroller. It's not, you know, pants versus underwear. They're more niche, and how many times do you actually hear somebody saying acclimate or acclimatize? So that's why I thought I'd do this video, A, to stand up for myself a little bit and tell people that yes, I might be using the American words for things, but I have not come up with these words. They are real words that are said in North America, and to let my British audience into some of these insights and the different things that we say. So again, that final one was UK say acclimate for the most part, and in America we say acclimatize. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, if you've enjoyed, leave a comment down below. Make sure to hit subscribe. That tells YouTube that you are enjoying. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, make sure to leave them below. Thanks very much for watching, and have a good day.